guys, it's Lexy. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing 3 delicious recipes with you guys. A recipe for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All of these are super easy to put together, and I make them on a regular basis. They are so good. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's video. The first recipe I want to share with you guys is out of my Magnolia Table cookbook. I've made this so many times that I have this recipe memorized by heart. It is definitely a favorite in this house. So here's all of the ingredients you're going to need for this recipe. I did sub out a couple of the ingredients. I decided to use monk fruit sweetener instead of sugar, and then I also decided to use just some plain Greek yogurt instead of sour cream, but all of the other ingredients is exactly from the recipe. Go ahead and mix together your sugar, baking powder, and sea salt. Give that a good mix, and now you're ready to go ahead and pull out your stand mixer, or you can mix this by hand as well. I love any opportunity where I get to pull out the stand mixer. It's always so fun to use. This is the attachment you're going to be using, and you're just going to slowly start to add in your ingredients. So you want to start by adding in your butter. I let this kind of melt a little bit on the countertop, and then your sugar mixture, and you want to go ahead and let this whip together for several minutes until it's well incorporated. Now it's time to add in the rest of the ingredients, and you want to do it slowly, and you also want to make sure that your stand mixer is not too high of a speed because you don't want it to create any lumps. So I'm just using a medium speed, and now you're going to slowly add in the flour and also the sour cream. In this case, I'm using Greek yogurt, so I just add in a little bit at a time, and then once it's fully mixed in, I will add the rest in. You just want to add it in nice and slow so that way you don't have any lumps in your batter and it's nice and smooth. This is the consistency you want to look for. And now you just want to add in your blueberries and fold them in gently. And one of the things I love about this recipe is you can sub out the blueberries for strawberries and make strawberry muffins. I've even tried chocolate chips instead of the blueberries, and it tastes amazing. You can really make this recipe your own. And now it's time to make our crumble that's going to go on top of our muffins. And honestly, this recipe truly doesn't need it. It's just sugar, flour, and butter. Now, this is the first time that I've used monk fruit instead of sugar for the crumble, so we will have to see how it turns out, if it makes any difference. You really want to use a pastry cutter. I didn't have one, however, so I just used my hands, and it worked just as good. You just want to kind of create little crumbles that we're going to sprinkle on top of the muffins. This is how the crumble should look. It looks a little bit more doughy than when I made it the last time using real sugar, so we'll see how it turns out on the muffins. You want to just go ahead and spray your muffin tin. You can also line it as well and fill them up halfway, and then go ahead and take that crumble that we made and sprinkle on top of your muffins. I bake them for 24 minutes, and I like to take my muffins out when they're still slightly doughy in the center and let them continue to cook on top of your stovetop because I love a soft muffin. These turned out amazing. However, I will say the crumble was kind of non-existent, so if you want that beautiful crumble, highly recommend using regular sugar. Although they tasted amazing with the recipe swaps that I picked, they were super moist and soft, like crispy on the outside and so soft and ooey gooey on the inside, which is exactly how I love my muffins to taste. Now I want to share with you guys how to make a yummy market soup. Now I've shared several variations of this soup on my channel, but never this exact recipe. And I call this my market soup because you can really shop your fridge of what any vegetables and proteins that you have. There is no need to go to the grocery store. Here's the vegetables I'm going to be using today. I'm also using some baby potatoes as well, but feel free to use any vegetables you have on hand. I'm using lentils for our protein today, but last week I used apple sausage and it tastes amazing. Use any protein you like. You can use diced chicken, ground turkey, really anything will pair amazing with this soup. I sauteed the onions in some rosemary infused olive oil for a couple of minutes, and then you can just go ahead and add the rest of your vegetables. I add the tomatoes at the very end because I didn't want those to get mushy, but saute them up until they're just slightly softened. And if you're adding adding ground turkey or some sausage, I would go ahead and set the vegetables aside and saute it slightly before adding in all of your ingredients. But since we're using lentils, we're just gonna go ahead and dump everything in here. I added some chicken stock, some water. I'm also adding some seasonings, and this is a recipe where you can really add any types of seasonings that you wanna add. I'm always switching it up, but I will leave the seasoning combination that I use for this recipe down below. And then at the last minute, I decided to add some frozen kale. I just love this soup, and I find that the more vegetables you add, the better the soup tastes. And you just want to pressure cook the soup for 12 minutes, and that is seriously it. Make sure it's on sealing, and here's how the soup's going to look. I always love adding a splash of lemon to my soups to just bring out that flavor. Give it a good mix, and this is the recipe. I'm using those new bowls I shared with you guys in my thrift haul. I love these new little soup bowls. They're so cute, but this recipe is amazing, and I had lunch for the next several days, and the flavor to the soup is a 10 out of 10. We are having filet mignon for dinner tonight, and I want to share my super easy recipe. We get all of our meat from Butcher Box, and I'm going to leave my discount link down below because they are running a huge promotional deal right now. I just love being able to get meat shipped to my doorstep, and it's such high quality. But we're going to start with getting our mashed potatoes on because that's what's going to take the longest. So I washed the potatoes really well, and now we're giving them a good peel. While the potatoes are boiling, we're moving right on along to getting our steak seasoned. I did let this sit on the countertop for an hour. Highly recommend that when making steak. And now for this filet mignon, I just want to keep the seasonings very minimal, so I'm just doing salt and pepper on both sides. I make steak several ways, but this is definitely a favorite way to make it. I find it turns out the most tender this way. So get a cast iron pan and add about a tablespoon or two of some olive oil. Let that get super, super hot before adding your steak in. And you want to cook it for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. You're not going to worry about cooking the inside of your steak because we are going to finish it off in the oven. At this point in time, I added some butter, some minced garlic, and if you have some fresh rosemary, I highly recommend that. I didn't have any, so I used some minced rosemary, which was still just as good. Pop that in the oven, and you bake it for about 2 to 12 minutes, depending on the temperature that you want it. I wanted a perfect medium, so I baked mine for about 7 minutes. And while that's baking, let's go ahead and work on our vegetable. I love steaming my broccoli because it only took 3 minutes. So that's steaming, and it is time to work on our mashed potatoes. So I just kept a little bit of the potato water in there, and we're just gonna go ahead and mash it with some butter, and then you can add some sour cream or Greek yogurt to make your mashed potatoes extra creamy. I promise you guys, it makes your mashed potatoes taste so amazing. And then add your seasoning combinations of choice. I did some salt and pepper and also some parsley when I finished it off, and a little bit of garlic. And these mashed potatoes were so creamy and delicious. And at this point, our broccoli was done, our steak was done, and here's our meal. It was so flavorful and seriously so delicious. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I'll have all the recipes typed down below for you guys. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will be seeing you all very soon with a brand new video. Bye!